which is due to...
So guys, there's a RWBY panel thing?
Yeah, RWBY Takeover. It's happening in like 5 minutes, and Steve's gonna go sit over there. You're in the shop because you're part of the thing now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look
at that, look, we have a
generic RWBY background now.
We have a professional cosplayer with us now, look. Right, there we go. So,
Are you saying we're not professional?
no, we're not.
No.
Right, you go sit over there. See you in a minute.
I don't think, but I'm not.
Boo!
Sorry? Don't play with your emotions, I'm sorry. Right then, I hate to see what you'd have been like at the end of Game of Thrones. You'd have been like sat in your chair.
No spoilers! No spoilers!
Don't worry, you're not going to spoil it.
This dragon's in it. Literally only
Right, it is now time for our first panel of the weekend. Let's give a massive round of applause to some talented voice actors from the hit YouTube series RWBY, and you can watch it online as well on the Rooster Teeth channel. Please give a massive round of applause to Shannon McCormick, Jen Brown, Samantha Ireland,
You've got the jumpsuit. You can fully spread out. Yeah.
We've now turned this into the RWBY psychology session.
Yeah.
The classes are
More appropriate.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking the time to fly and be with us this weekend and celebrate this fantastic series. So, how did you all get involved? Now, I know you had some connection with kind of Rooster Teeth before, but did they come to you because of that? Was it a case of you heard of the series and said, "Oh, I really want to be involved"?
In my case, yeah, I've been doing. When did the show start in 13? Right, 2013. So it was so Monty had some stuff in 2012, like when the trailers went up. And before the trailers went up, I was in there recording some Red versus Blue lines at one point, and Monty called me over and he's like, "Hey, I want to show you something." And I was like, "Okay." And he showed me the Red trailer. And I was just like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's this thing I'm working on. It's this idea I have for a show." And I was like, "This, whatever it is going to be massive." And so then, yeah, like about 6 months later, I got called in to audition.
Yeah, pretty similar with all of us as far as RWBY. We had all already been working with Rooster Teeth for Red vs. Blue. Shannon had been doing Red vs. Blue for years. Sam and I had just been doing it for 1 season at the time. And I can't remember if it was Miles or Monty first. I think it was Monty first, like showed me the trailer. Just like, the Red trailer with you. And then him and Miles both were like, "Hey, so here are the character designs, here's the character we've created that we have in mind for you." And I remember them showing me Nora and like showing me all the characters really and being like, "Oh, we're looking at Sam for this, we're looking at, kind of explaining everything." And I remember being so excited and seeing all these beautiful concept drawings for all the cosplays and being like, "Oh, this is," like having the same feeling, being like, "Oh, this is gonna pop off." Like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is just a beautiful fantasy world that they're creating." So I feel like we all got really lucky in that we were already working there as actors. Not working there, but we were already contract actors on Red vs. Blue. So it was easy for them at the time to just be like, "Well, let's just contact the actors we're already working with."
Yeah, because I think nowadays it's harder to get into the series because there's less characters that are going to be, introduced into the world, and I think now it's more of like they invite you specifically,
or they go through official audition processes.
When I heard about the show, I was at like a theater rehearsal for a show I was doing, and other like our friends that we know in the theater world in Austin, they're like, "Sam, are you going to be on that new Rooster Teeth show?" And I was like, "I don't know about this." And so I contacted, I think, Brandon Farmahini, who was in live action. I was like, "Is there a new show? Like, I just want to kind of see if there's a character I can audition for." And they contacted me and they said that they were going to for Nora. And but yeah, I auditioned and she just felt like that was it for me. I loved her. I loved the way she looked. And so yeah, and I got a call Christmas. I think it was Christmas Eve, and Miles and Carrie called me and they said, "You got it, so yay, welcome to the team." But yeah. So we were just already working with them for Red versus Blue, and yeah, Jen's right. Like we really lucked out with, you know, and I think I don't know if your relationships with Monty, if you had like a special one, but I feel like we really connected when we met, and he was just such a wonderful human being.
He did that with everybody. I think
Like,
everyone who, you know, even if you didn't get to spend that much time with him, he found a way to connect with you, with everyone, and not in the same way. Like everyone had their own sort of connection with Monty. He was such a
sweet man and an incredibly creative person.
I mean, it was so. I remember being so excited because he was so excited. Yeah. Like the joy that would just radiate off of him when he was talking about RWBY or talking about animation or anything in general was just palpable, like and inspiring, and you wanted to kind of be around that. So that was always really lovely. And I remember too when they brought me in, like initially with Pyrrha. I don't know about y'all two. I don't know if they had voices in mind for you or if they just let you go free. But they were like, "Oh, this is what we want her to sound like." And then I was like, "Well, y'all do realize that's basically Agent Carolina, right?" And they were like, "Oh. You're right. Maybe we should do a slightly different vocal tone." And then that's when I pitched pitched the idea of her pitch being higher. And they really responded to it. We're like, "Oh,
it's more of an ethereal kind of feel too."
As they were describing her, I mean, basically the first and only things they told me about her were she came from kind of an erudite, higher end, family, and that she was well educated and she was strong and she was very, polite and proper, but also had, strong.
She'd kill you.
Yeah, exactly. But they said all that, and then also in the same breath, they're like, "Oh, and she's gonna die." That stings. like immediately. In case you didn't know that, I knew the minute I was cast what was gonna happen. I had to keep it a secret for 3 years.
Wow. Okay. How did that kind of change did it change any of your perception of the
No,
character at the
because
time? Or?
if you think about it, I didn't know anything about the show. No one did. I mean, I knew it seemed cool and I knew it was going to be good, but I knew it was going to be big, but I didn't know just how big. And you don't think about like, oh yeah, I'm playing this character that's going to die. Da, da, da. It's like, I didn't know anything about her, so I had no emotional attachment. So it's like, oh neat, I get to play this character that has this arc, and it was supposed to happen in season 2.
They spread it out an extra season to make it hurt more.
Yeah.
They seriously.
I'm not joking. That is literally what Miles said to me. But beautiful. So yeah, they knew.
They were prolonging your sense of agony there, weren't they? That's what they were doing.
Well, it's funny because as you were saying, how did it affect me? At first, no big deal. Just being like, oh, that's neat. I get to play a character that passes. But as the show keeps going, and as the show actually starts airing, and you start meeting fans, and these sweet little children come up to you, and little girls say that you're their favorite character, and it starts to dawn on you, what's gonna happen? Yeah.
We did a panel. Jen and I were on a panel last year where the person had literally not caught up to the Pyrrha death thing.
Yeah, so sorry if anybody else is in.
Oh yeah, anybody not caught up for season 3? And that person was like, "So I just started volume 3," and everybody in the house just went, "Whoa!" Whoops.
Tried to be like, don't tell him, but it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, don't.
That's my reaction. What happened?
But that's also unusual in most kind of shows, is they don't give you a forewarning of what's coming. Did you other two get anything like that? Did they say anything about your character? Did you get an idea of their arc? Or
No, I got none. So I also died.
I feel like they don't. I don't know. I feel like for your character that they didn't also know for a very long time.
They say they did, but I think they didn't. They're making it up as they go.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh yeah, that was always the plan." I'm like, "You're lying." Because they had told Jen from the beginning, and in my case, volume 3 wraps up, and then again I'm in recording Red versus Blue, and Carrie's just like, "Hey, so by the way, I think your body's never gonna come back, and you're inside a little boy. Okay, bye."
That's Carrie. That's Carrie. I knew about Ren and Nora's like relationship, like how they met and everything. So I just didn't know when that was going to be shown. I know that's one of my favorite episodes. That Ren backstory. It's absolutely lovely, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking. I think I just love his redemption, his character, like his story is, I love it. So I know, but I still don't even know that much about Nora's, like her backstory. I still don't know a lot about that. And I think this upcoming season, we're gonna get to tap into that a little bit more. So that would be really interesting. But yeah, so I knew a little bit. I haven't been told anything like you know, like nothing bad, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, it could be like, yeah, and you don't come back either, see you, like, you know, like, that could happen. So.
You're just hoping it's not, you're trapped in the body of a raccoon. What? You have no way to communicate.
It would be a slap. So.
You're like, oh. So over the years I've spoken to several voice actors, and they have said to me one of the things that they like to do when they're looking at a character and they're looking at a breakdown is they like to try and find something to grip onto, something to help them in their performance that they identify with. Which for each of you was something you identified with your characters that kind of helped you?
I can answer this. I tend to say this a lot because it's pretty true. A lot of people ask me like how I identify with her, so I think it's a pretty similar question. With Pyrrha, a lot of it is people have this kind of idea of who she is, and she doesn't always feel like people have that accurately. So like people have this idea of who she is, but doesn't always match up with who she actually is. And when I was in high school, I 100% identified with that. So much so that every time I tell this story, everyone like gets sad. But let me preface this with, I am an adult now. I'm happy. Everything's fine. But when I was in high school, my first boyfriend broke up with me basically by telling me that he put me on a pedestal in his mind. And then I didn't live up to his expectation. In high school, right? Isn't that so messed up? What a tool. Total tool. Total tool. He also said I was too womanly. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. So, what? In high school, right? I was 15. Anyway, so, and at the time, you know, it hurt, but then I grew up and now I like, you know, think it's funny. I think it's really funny. But that's in that monologue. I remember like reading that and being like, oh my God, I relate to that on such a specific level because that literally happened to me when I was younger. So I do understand. I definitely identify with that aspect of kind of having this veneer or this sort of like this what everyone thinks of you and then what you actually are being a little bit different.
For me, it's a lot of times it's finding like a couple of external references and just mixing them together till they land on what I think the character sounds like. So when I was reading for Ozpin, one of the ideas that Monty had and Miles backed it up was the way the character dub of Excalibur from Soul Eater sounds. Do you guys, has anybody watched Soul Eater? Right? So you remember Excalibur? That weird little penguin top hat dude, whatever. So, and I was watching Game of Thrones at the time, so Ozpin is kind of a mixture of Excalibur and Charles Dance, who plays Tywin Lannister. Because I wanted that kind of sternness that Charles Dance has. And so and then I kind of just mixed them around, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's what Ozpin sounds like, and they liked it. So I was like, okay, good to go.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, there wasn't anything that like, I identified with her energy level, I identified with her strength. I love that. I love the juxtaposition of her, you know, when you first see her, she's so childlike, but the absolute power that she has behind it, I absolutely love that. And I feel like I can identify that to an extent because I feel like a child inside, but then I take care of children. Like I have 2 kids of my own and I feel like I've had to grow up kind of quickly. I feel like she's kind of felt the same way. But yeah, there wasn't anything that that I took for the voice part. Like there wasn't anything like that I saw and I was like, yeah, she needs to sound like that. It kind of just came out naturally when I first started reading for her lines. But yeah, I did identify with her, the characteristics of her that I thought were important. So that's it. That's for me.
And we've kind of touched on the beginnings of season 3 here. One of the things that certainly noticeable with season 3 is a change in the way the series evolved. It became something very much darker and more adult and more gritty as it kind of grew from there. Was that something that you were aware they're going to do? And do you think it's something that the show needed to kind of have in it to develop further along? Because we just recently celebrated the 60th year anniversary, so it's got the longevity. Do you think that helped?
I think so. I mean, like, if you think about stories like Harry Potter, like, you know, you grow up with them as they grow up. And I think that was really important. I remember them talking about that, how it was going to get a little bit darker. Because, I mean, you can stay in that world forever, and you could stay in that, and it could go for a very long time. But how much depth are you going to get into with the stories? I feel like it could just really be on the level, and it could just kind of be more of caricature rather than, I feel like these characters have a little bit more 3 dimensions to them, and so yeah, I remember them saying that. Did they tell you that too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mentioned there the 6th year anniversary of the show. How does it? Did you know at the time when you first got given your script and you first did your roles? Did you really know that it was going to be as big as it's becoming? We've got some great cosplayers out there now. Did you?
Not that big. I mean, we had an idea that people would like it, but just not to this level.
No one traveled to the UK.
Right?
Like people who also really love these characters. That's insane to me. Like,
it's unfathomable. Never would have.
But I knew it was going to be popular. I knew that people would like it, but I didn't know what size of fan base it would attract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
I mean, he's done some incredible things. I mean, it's had, it's kind of, in an interesting way, it's had a manga written about it by Japanese manga artists, which is almost unheard of for any other thing. When did you first become aware of facts like that? And how did it make you feel about being involved in the series when you hear things like that?
Oh, I remember when they told us we were going to be the first American-made anime imported to Japan, and my jaw straight up came off of my face and fell onto the ground and walked off. I was like, what the heck? Are you serious? And then when they told us that we were going to be voiced by huge stars over there, huge names in anime.
I was just
this one.
I was just geeking out with Jen because I read the Naruto manga long ago, and then my son has been watching the anime, and Kakashi has always been my favorite character, and the Japanese voice actor who plays Ozpin is the voice of Kakashi from Naruto, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, this is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's also when people go over there too. It's like on billboards, it's in stores, and it's a part of the culture. That's really cool.
And then one day you'll be flying over to Japan to attend cons over there.
Maybe. Oh, I wish. We wish. Maybe. I don't know. Wish. I have a weird little Japanese following that's I get.
Oh, your meme thing.
Oh yeah, I have a weird.
Because you don't know about this.
So somehow some Japanese fans found. This is the part that I do not understand. So it's a headshot of me from over 20 years ago that was taken on analog film, and then it, to my knowledge, had never been digitized. I have no idea how they got a digital file of it. So it's a 20-year-old photo of me that they've then taken and then memed into a thing where either they're being homophobic and accusing me of being gay, or they're gay and they are hot for me. I don't know what.
Translation thing.
There's a translation and a context thing that I don't understand, but it's all about gayness and my face, and then moved on to things, and it's just like, okay, man, I don't know what's going on. The biggest mystery is not the gay part; it's where did you get this picture?
Why? And why your face? Where did that, or what on earth?
It's a black and white photo, and they colorized it.
Have you not seen this, Sam?
I don't think so.
I need to see that. It's insane.
So I want to meet those people.
That's absolutely incredible.
It's super weird. It's
Very weird.
It's very strange. It's kind of died down, but about 3 years ago, it was.
You were super hot in that.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know, man. It was wild.
I'm blown away by that. I know how much work it goes into colorizing photos, and that must have taken some time. It's really weird, guys. So hopefully if you go over there, you won't encounter that side of it, though.
Yeah.
But one of the things that the show is very, very good at is the story, as we've mentioned, and it really does keep you hooked in on it. Was there a part that you got to in the script where you went, hang on a minute, I didn't see that coming, even though you knew you were going to die, but... And what was it?
You gonna tell your story?
Yeah, because
Okay.
this is, I think you were with me too, I think you were there. So, I swore I read all the scripts of season 3. I thought I did. I thought I read the entire script. Apparently I didn't. Because when we were doing the audio commentary for the DVD for season 3, we were sitting there watching it, and we're chatting, we're all casual, and Lindsay, and we're all just chatting. And then all of a sudden, Yang's arm comes off, and I lost it.
She didn't know that was.
I did not know, had no idea. Either I skipped over that section of the script, or I only read my lines for that episode, or they didn't send it to me. I do not know, but I had
It's a pretty
no clue. It is a very intense moment, and I lost it. Of course, I'm pretty sure Lindsay was there, and they were all dying laughing. They're like, "Did you
not
read?
watch it? Did you not
read the script?" And I think my actual response was, "I thought I did." That I was legitimately surprised by that part.
No, I mean, well, I feel like I'm always like, well, I didn't see that coming. A lot of the times.
Oh, you haven't? No. That when you forgot to watch the episode.
I forgot. Yeah. So there was a time where Shannon and I were doing an interview with I forget who it was, but
It was like a website.
yeah, exactly. And we were just talking about the episodes up to that point, and I thought I watched all the episodes because I don't read the full script that they sent to us because I don't understand it half the time because it's not you, it's not your character, and if you haven't, it's the middle of that season and you haven't seen anything, you're like, what's going on? I don't know anything. So
out of context.
yeah,
it's very
out of context,
confusing.
it's really confusing, and so I just don't read them. I read the scenes that I'm a part of so I can get an idea of what's going on with Nora. So I mean, I was about to have this interview, and I didn't watch this one episode that was incredibly important to know. It was about the maidens
It
and
set up the fall maiden.
The
backstory of the fall maiden.
I didn't. I started this episode and I was like, who are any of these people? What? It's like, is this the show I'm on? I just had to do a double take, and I was like, what is happening? Why is that person dead? And so I went back and I watched it, and I was like, oh my God, so much happened in one episode. And that was really important to know what the fuck was going on. Yeah, so that happened, and I had to catch up very, very fast and get on Wikipedia and read a bunch of stuff. So, but yeah, don't. Just double check if you've watched it all. You might be me and realize what the hell's going on. So
I love that so much. I thought that was so funny. Remember your time?
I felt really stupid. Well, I was watching it. I was just like,
What is happening?
What is happening? Who are any of these people?
Who is that guy?
That's fine. Hey, I don't understand how the Rooster Teeth app works because I've watched an entire season backwards by accident once.
That's gotta be so
Yeah, Red versus Blue. I was like, I wasn't noticing how they would. I was like, this is weird. This is a weird way to start an episode.
You're like, so much has happened.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, didn't this what's going on? And then my husband was like, babe, I think you're watching it backwards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I 100%
And with Red versus Blue, just that's me. When I joined in that, I was like, they were like, yeah, watch these seasons, you'll understand what's going on. And I watched them, I was like, that was a waste of time because I do not know what's going on. But it was entertaining enough. So.
Shannon, is there any kind of thing that surprised you?
No, because I'm immortal and I know everything, so... No, nothing's really thrown me for a loop except for the fact that they didn't tell me that I was gonna, be... disembodied voice inside of Oscar's head for the remainder of the time or whatever is happening. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but up till now, that's been his condition.
That's crazy.
How did you react then when they said they were going to do a companion series, but you were all going to be chibied?
Oh, personally, I was really excited because I mean, I could not be dead. Yeah, I'm not dead.
Everything's fine. Nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
Ever.
I liked it because so Oz gets to do things like do the rhyming Dr. Seuss episode and be the theater MC and stuff like that. Stuff that you would never do in the adult series.
I like how Nora gets kind of dark.
That's my favorite. It's awesome. Mine too. Well, because Nora's, I mean, you know this, I've told you this all the time, you're my favorite. Nora's my favorite. My favorite. So yeah, I love the meta episode with you in the booth. That is like one of my favorites. So good.
When Carrie wrote that, he was a little, he didn't know how people were gonna like it, because I read the script and I was like, oh my god, this is so good. I love this. And he's like, I don't know how people are gonna feel about it. And I was like, I think they're gonna like it. I think they're gonna like it. And it turned out so good. It was hilarious.
It's fantastic.
But yeah, I just like that we get to play our characters in just these fantastical ways. I got to play, we were playing a board game, so I got to have a southern accent because it was a farm, so it's like playing Nora as a farmer in this alien game, so stuff like that. It's just a little bit, it's just more fun, you know?
It is.
You don't really have to think about it, it's just a lot of play, which is really cool.
Like with you, Nora gets to be excited and happy in both shows. Pyrrha doesn't really get a lot of happy times in the main RWBY series. So Chibi was especially nice for me because I was like, I get to have her be happy and playful and silly, and the Red Huntress stuff makes me so happy. I love the Red Huntress stuff, and the Pyrrha's unholy scream thing is hilarious. It's just incredible. It's awesome.
So cool.
I use it as a GIF all the damn time. It's great. Great. It's the closest to what my actual face looks like. Huge eyes and just way too many features.
And one of the things about the characters in RWBY, they're based on kind of a mixture of fairy tale, literature, mythology, and historical characters. Now, if you were able to, they said to you, right, we've got suggestions from each of you to make a character for the show. What do you think you would pick as a kind of a starting point for a character?
Oh, that's good. That's a good question. Keeping within those parameters.
Drawn.
So anything mythology or grim or...
I've said this before. I already know mine.
Yeah?
Persephone.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
that's a good one.
Oh, that's a good one.
Always been my favorite, and then because then what you would have her be is she would be a character that walked both worlds. So she would have half the time in Grimm and half the time in...
that's cool.
Yeah, no, I've thought about this when someone asked me 2 panels ago.
That's one of my favorite characters in mythology.
Same.
I love
So
it.
my favorite myth is, my favorite Greek mythology story is Diana and Actaeon, the hunter who sees her bathing, and she changes him into a stag.
Yes!
And the hounds, his own dogs tear him apart. I think that story is awesome.
I would want it, for this, I would want to do a villain. I'd want it to be Medusa.
Medusa. Well, I mean, what's her face is kind of Salem feels kind of Medusa.
She does feel like Medusa a little bit.
Yeah.
She has that air about her.
Quality.
She's Salem's badass character.
Salem's awesome.
So good.
Jen Taylor. She's all legend.
Well, we're going to open the question out to you, ladies of the audience. So if you'd like to ask something, stick your hand up and I will come round to you. I kind of know where the...
Oh my god, there are multiple alive.
Little Jean Army down there.
Get down front.
Before you guys came out, I said I know which side's going to ask the questions first, and I was right. Right, I'm going to start with you.
Hi, I was just wondering what your favourite line is that each of your characters have said.
I have a few, but definitely one of my favorite ones is, "Ooh, will break his legs. I've always loved that one because she's defending her friend, but that's real dark, you know? Like, so that's one of my favorite ones. What about you guys?
I'll go because Jen's still thinking. I love when Ozpin is saying that he's made more mistakes than any man, woman, or child alive because it's just mathematically true.
Yeah.
Because of how many times he's been in different people. So, but yeah, I love that line.
I really love the monologue where she unlocks Jean's aura. It's beautifully written. It's really lovely. It's just a sweet moment. I really like that. And also, of course, do you believe in destiny? This is a big thing. Someone just deflated back there.
That was the sound of their soul leaving their body.
We have a question from the front.
Character.
We have a question here, second row.
Hello. For Jen, in season 4, did Carrie and Miles give you heads up that you were going to have those lines, or was it like a surprise for you?
It was a surprise. I didn't know that was going to happen, so that was really lovely. It was a nice little surprise to have the little very sad cell phone cameo. Although, what's interesting is I'm so evil because when they told me about that, I was like, oh my gosh, I had an idea very similar, except my idea was way worse. And it was that Jean couldn't stop, I've told you this, right?
Yeah.
Was that Jean couldn't stop watching the Pumpkin Pete's commercial, like obsessively, like over and over and over. So it would be like this really funny, silly, like, Pyrrha being like having like cereal, and then just Jean just like bawling, just like, that was my idea, and I was like, this is much better. The training video is much better.
I remember when I was like reading the script, I was like, Jen's back! And I almost texted you, and then I was like, oh no.
No,
it's just a very sad part, and I cried. I was like, that's really sad.
It's not really her.
We got real emotional in the booth recording that one too. I remember everyone was crying. Yeah, everyone got real sad.
And we have a question here.
What is your favorite fight in RWBY?
Favorite what?
Fight, like combat, like punches versus grim stuff.
One of my favorite ones is obviously in Volume 4 when Ren, what is that? It's the Neglavy? Yeah.
Me too. That's my favorite.
I love
That's my favorite.
that one. It's a really, because it's also a very creepy grim. You
Yeah.
know, he's just, it's
That's what it's called.
I just love that, the redemption for him. I love that part of the fight. But then specifically for Nora, I like the one where she fights with Hazel and she uses his energy to make herself even more stronger, and she's just like, I just need him to go down. So I liked recording that specifically for my character. But yeah, my favorite fight is definitely in Volume 4. That's just
it's a good
beautiful. It's done
Agreed.
really
Yeah.
well. And there's just a lot of meaning behind it. So
Yeah, that would be my favorite as far as like just from a fight perspective. Also, I love that design of that grim. It's
So
just the coolest
crazy.
thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
horror movies are my thing. I love them. So the design of that was so beautifully horrific and just monstrous and so like Cthulhu-ish.
and the way it sounded too
dark.
was very
I loved that.
kind of
I loved it.
messed up. I liked it.
But aside from that, I mean, I really do like the last fight with like Pyrrha and Cinder. I really do. I mean, it's beautifully animated. It's gorgeously paced. It's emotional. I mean, it's so like I have my own feelings about being fridged, but it's a beautiful, beautiful scene. I mean, it really is a beautiful fight scene, and it's gorgeous. They did a beautiful job with it.
And a question from Miss Andrew Shannon.
If you can make your own, like, if you were in the RWBY universe and you could actually, like, make your own weapon, what would you make?
No, I never have a good answer for this one because usually, like, Barbara says she would have a gun. That's a gun. So, like, that's kind of like
A gun.
A gun.
Yeah.
So that's kind of tops it every time for me. But I don't know because you can make any weapon. Like a purse is a weapon, you know? So I don't have a good answer for this. I really don't. Do you guys have a good one?
No, not really.
We're not that creative, guys. Like,
Maybe like earrings that like you could
like ninja stars.
Yeah, like ninja star, but that were like that had like more that were also like guns.
Yeah, anything that guns and guns.
Earring guns.
Earring guns.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Okay. Our next question is from the bride to be.
So I've always been interested in Neo's character and how she communicates with other people, and obviously she doesn't say anything. And I was wondering if maybe they might consider putting sign language into the show as a way, because at the moment everyone just kind of seems to know what she's thinking.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I was like, is she psychic? What? Like, yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
That would be neat. I don't know if they have any plans to do that. I feel like with the way their hands are, I don't think they have traditional, do they have a finger? I can't remember. Or is it animation 4? Because I know in a lot of animation it's actually 4. So I can't remember if it's the animation 4 or if it's actual 5. But if it's 4, they wouldn't be able to do it accurately, obviously. So they would probably have to like create their own version of it, but I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you should mention it. You should suggest it. I mean, like, seriously, like, that's an amazing suggestion for that character.
We've got time for a couple more questions, so we're going to start with this gentleman.
Hey, for everyone this, obviously you've done other characters apart from RWBY. If they were isekai'd into Remnant, what would their semblance be for each of the characters you played?
I don't know if I know the question. Say that one more time.
Obviously played other characters apart from RWBY. So if they got isekai'd into Road of Remnant, how would their semblance be?
So our non-RWBY characters into the RWBY universe, what would their semblances be like? So like CT or Wash or...
Oh, okay.
Am I understanding you correctly?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So Quartermaster, his semblance would just be this kind of like, I don't know what it would be.
Control over squirrels.
It would just.
You might have to do with the squirrels, yes.
It's just a hibernation kind of like squirrel energy semblance, right? And that's the plane he's on. Yeah.
Well, now you have me thinking of Camp. So I'm like, Arid's, she'd probably be able to just like freeze you, like basically freeze anyone in their tracks with just like a simple like, like an eye roll, and they would just be completely immobile.
It's a cool semblance.
Yeah, it's a cool semblance.
Right.
Be like, chill out. And then they would just like completely freeze.
And then you could just like get away from them.
Push them over, or like walk over casually and just be like, like so chill. Like she would break no sweat. She would just walk to every fight.
I think the Flower Scout semblance is a mind group one. So they can create more mean girls.
Yeah. It's like a clone jutsu. There's just 1,000 of them all of a sudden.
I feel like they would rule the world in the end. So that's the Flower Scouts. So
that's hilarious.
They can look at you and just know that you become a bitch, just like that. And that's them. They would create an army and take over. That's a good one.
That was a good one.
That is a really fun one.
And we have a final question for this lady here.
Where is he?
So, in the world of Remnant,
Over there.
there's there's one island that doesn't have any schooling, any buildings, nothing of note on it, and it's shaped like a dragon. I wanted to know if you had any theories for what's on that island and why nobody's touching it.
Ooh.
There's a dragon island? Like on the map?
Yeah.
It's technically that.
Islands are shaped like Grimm.
Right.
If you look at them, all of them are shaped like Grimm. But there's one at the top that's shaped like the dragon Grimm that we see in season 3. But there's no notable schools. It's not where the faunas live. There's nothing like it, but there's a dark red side. So like my theory is that's where Salem is. But a lot of people don't quite know or acknowledge this island even exists. And considering they keep trying to branch out and nobody seems to be touching this island, I have to ask, do you guys have any theories on why that is?
That is Spooky Island.
Yes!
I'm forever scarred by that episode, by the way.
Which Spooky Island episode?
The first one.
Oh, the very first. Spooky Island? Yeah.
No, I don't have a theory about that, but I was looking at the map and I was wondering if there was anything that we hadn't touched yet, like any kind of land or like country. So, I mean, I'm assuming that they probably are like, let's have this there so we can come back to it. So we have this option. But I mean, I think that's a really cool theory that you think that's where Salem is. And that's probably, I don't know.
Every time you see her in her castle, it's all red.
Yeah. That would make complete
It would
sense.
absolutely make sense.
It's Mordor.
Yeah, it's
Mordor!
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, you know, Carrie did that thing, so like obviously she's in a Mordor like kind of place. It's obvious he's a big, you know, a Tolkien fan. So like that's on there.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please give me a massive round of applause for our panelists to start the day. And Jen Brown. And there will be other signing tables this weekend, so if you didn't get to ask them a question or have any more interesting theories to posit, do go visit them there. But our next we'll be taking a trip.
That was great! Yeah! Quick, on the stage now.